It's the middle of April. I should be focused more on selling machines than buying them. But I just made a deal to buy this $50 Craftsman LT2000. 50 bucks. I couldn't pass it up. Let's go pick it up. Well, we got it home. It's a little rougher than I thought, but let me get it off the trailer and I'll show you what I've noticed is wrong with it so far.
Tractor, dude!
Got my helper here. Steer very well. Oh, maybe it does. A little hard though, isn't it? Yeah. Here, go right into the grass. So as you can see, the steering is noisy, very tight, and loose. And worst of all, the engine is seized. I cannot spin it. Now, I knew the engine wasn't starting. The seller said, you know, it doesn't move at all. I said, what happens when you hit the key switch? He said, nothing. And so I was thinking, all right, great, electronic issue. You know, it's like a solenoid or a fuse or loose connection, something easy. So that's why I made the deal. As soon as I got there, I touched the engine like that and found out it was seized. Now, it's not all bad news. He said it's seized from sitting. So he used it, worked fine, put it away. You know, a season later or several weeks later, he hit the key and it would not move. So I think we're rust seized. We have probably the magneto or the coil is seized to the flywheel. So we're gonna pop the engine cover off, and that's even better than an electronic issue because that's a free fix. So, you know, electronic issue, you got to replace a part usually. So let's see if it's just rust. Pardon all the construction noise behind me. All right. I think I can tell already that our coil is seized to the flywheel, but yeah, we have a big nest here. Really gross. That looks seized to me, which is, I think that's good news. This is really rusty and just packed full of a mouse nest. So hopefully they didn't chew the coil wire, because you got the coil wire running. I think we're in good shape. There we go. Yeah, see, we're in good shape. All right, let me get some gloves. I'll clean this out. Starter is seized too, but I mean likely just because the flywheel seized. You can see he tried to engage it and it didn't budge, and the Bendix didn't come back down. Well, I decided to take the bolts off the coil here, but my socket went underneath the flywheel. Oh, I can see it there. All right, let me get that out. And then yeah, see, look guys, we're already free. I have the oil dipstick off, so I don't want to spin it over too much yet. Let me get that back on there. Let me get my socket back. But I think we have a free engine here. Well, they're digging up something on the road. Let's see if we can get this out. There we go. Get this back in here. At least just set up like that. So this starter Bendix still hasn't come down yet. Yeah, I feel some compression. All right, we got to work on this, but this engine is not fully seized, so that's great. I'm gonna try to be gentle with this, but there we go. Oh yeah, we have compression. Sweet. All right, I actually think there's a battery in here, and I want to try to fire this thing off. I bet this Bendix will work now. Check the oil one more time. It's low, but it's in there. Enough to give it a start. Let's see what happens here. Nothing. All right, maybe that battery is dead. It's supposed to be a newish battery. Let me check the voltage. 3.7. It's a pretty dead battery right there. So Acmount sent me one of these battery jumpers a little while ago, and I actually tried to use it on another project, but that project stalled. So this I tried to make a video for them, or at least use this thing in my video. Anyway, I feel kind of bad because they sent it to me for free, and just that project is stalled. You know, what are you gonna do? So maybe you'll see, guys will end up seeing this product twice, but that's okay. We'll see if we can't get this thing jumped here, because this battery is, like you saw, shot, or at least dead at the moment. Let's see what we get here. Oh yeah, all right, here we go. Took my foot off the brake there. Let's get the battery jumper back on. The brake doesn't stay down. Parking brake. Parking brake needs to be adjusted. All right, let's get some of this hardware off of here. I think we can go for a ride with this. I know some people get really crazy when you run it without the shroud on. It's just for a little bit, guys. It's not going to overheat in like a couple seconds, 30 seconds. Even if you did 2 minutes, it's not going to overheat. I promise. I do it all the time. you know, yes, you need airflow, and it's designed for the longevity of the engine. You know, the difference, at least in just a moderate testing, is not going to be significant. It's not going to seize up. I have very little oil too. I have the shroud off. Watch, everything's going to be fine. Well, listen to this thing idle. This thing runs perfect. We have a very healthy engine. That is great news. Blades did not engage. Seems like it's a little on the slow side, at least in forward. Almost like we're hung up with a brake or something. I don't know, because this, it was kind of hard to push. Yeah, see, I think the brake is hung up. You can almost hear it. So that might be slowing us down. But that's awesome. I think we can put this engine cover fully back together. Nothing wrong under here. We got that all cleaned out. Starter works just fine. So yeah, nice job, Acmount. That thing actually worked really well. You know, you do have to usually hit this button. You have to hold this button here to get like a full green light. It just, you know, like anything, the safety features, it doesn't want to start like a really dead battery. So but once you hit that button, it's got full juice. So that was cool. Well, I don't want to do it too many times, but everything feels good when you do that. But this engagement is seized, so it's seized loose, you know. And things seem to, yeah, things are moving freely here. So it's nothing on the deck. I mean, well, it's just the bracket. So that should be a pretty easy fix. Yeah, so we're put back together here. I'm pretty excited, actually. And I think what I'm going to do is fast track this project. I'm just going to pull it into the shed here. I'm going to take a little break for a little bit, though, because I need to post for sale some of the machines that I have ready. I mean, it's a beautiful day, it's warm. I might even do some pressure washing. You know, you got to do the sales stuff. This is why I'm into all this, is to make a little bit of extra cash. The YouTube stuff helps too, but priority really is selling things, not making videos. And this is a very nice project, but I'm gonna put it in the shed for maybe I'll get back to it in a couple hours. We'll see. I think where I would start next is with the deck. We'll see if we can get that freed up so we can see if this thing mows. So we're back on the project. Actually just posted 3 machines for sale, which was really what I wanted to do today. Getting this for $50 was kind of a surprise, but I got this free. Just hit it with some heat and it's moving perfectly. Brakes work, spindles sound decent, so I think we're just going to put it right back on the machine and see if it mows. The deck is reinstalled. I've been charging the battery, so this will be cool to see if it actually just starts right up. Well, the battery just died on me while I was mowing, but yeah, no issues. The mowing deck sounds nice and smooth. The engine runs great. I got to remember to top off some oil because we don't have too much oil in there. Transmission works good. It doesn't really go too fast, which is a little weird, but all right, I want to look into the steering. I think all it is really just this bushing that likes to go. It needs some grease, but I think we're just dealing with a worn out bushing. Let's get that bolt out. It's just a 1/2 inch. Like someone got jammed down in there. I just got to work to get that steering wheel off. Huh. It's like seized on there. Yeah, it's just sort of rust seized on there. The splines are still good in that. I don't know why this is all like egged out in there, but yeah, it would go right back on. Oh yeah, it wants to it wants to be on there. We'll clean all that up, put some grease on it. Should be able to get this off. Somehow. Alright, just looking underneath, actually I don't think it's a bushing. These 3/8 bolts are all loose. There's 3 of them, and the thing's just rattling around because the bolts are loose. So I'm just going to tighten down those bolts. I bet that thing will be solid. Yep, just as I thought. That was it. Not moving around at all now. It would have been easier to take out the tank to get access to those bolt heads, but these are zip tied in, and that's the factory zip tie. I didn't want to mess with that. But yeah, let's put a little grease, clean that up, put a little grease on it, put the steering wheel back on. A little bit of purple grease on there. I don't want to get the steering wheel to be centered. That should be good. Like brand new. Now we're just going to coat this real good. We'll top off some oil. and ride this thing around. That's actually already better. Gotta fix that parking brake. I smell a belt, so I'm just gonna look under here. I see, man, something's smoking. See that? It's kind of what it feels like something seized. It really feels like the brake is seized. Boy, look at that smoke. It's not the drive belt. Drive belt does not feel warm. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen that before. There's a lot of oil or something. Oh, maybe it's just I don't know. This transmission has a lot of stuff going on it. You know what, that belt is a little seized up. I wonder if one of the pulleys is seized. Got one here. That pulley's got a little bit of play in it. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to get the battery out, take a look from the top. Let's see, maybe I can get that battery out just now. This seems to be a decent amount of cable. Can we see down in there, see what's going on? Belt doesn't look great. It's just up and down play. It's like up and down play. I don't know if that's, I don't think that's necessarily causing it. Is the belt on like one wrong side of the keepers? Is this one seized? Take that off. That one's not seized. That's not seized. That one's not seized. Oh, you know what? Maybe it is this one. It's not moving up and down. So this variable drive is seized. Ah, okay. That's why it's not really going all that fast. All All right, let's take it up top. We'll see if we can get that variable drive pulley off. In the meantime, let's see how it does on the hill. No complaints. It's doing it just fine. It's just a little on the slow side. Nice set of steers now. This pulled out while I was monkeying around with that. I'll have to fix that. It does not look easy to get that out. I'd love to try to solve the problem with that variable drive in place. So I might just, I'm just trying to like work, you know, it's supposed to, it's like a double pulley if you don't know, and it's, the middle thing is supposed to slide up and down to give you variable drive, and it's not moving. All right, I just got it, and what it was this belt was on the wrong side of the belt keeper. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but now that thing moves up and down now. No problem. All right, we're gonna get those belts put back into position, see how it operates. Got that sorted out. Just love how this fires right up. Maybe I missed something. I'm gonna go back in there, see what's going on. Yeah, I had this belt not going around. I had it going in front. I don't know, that was dumb. That's fixed. Try this again. Let's see if it'll start just like mid-throttle. I wasn't expecting to do this today, but I nearly mowed most of my hill here. I got that part really good. You saw me go straight up here. I know the hill looks like nothing. This is, you can kind of see how far away that is and how far down it is. That's just unreasonable to expect a lawnmower to do that, and this thing just hauled it up there. Like I said, not very fast. It's fast enough though. Biggest thing that kept me from doing some of these spots, I didn't do all this. There's a rock down there and I have no brakes because I adjusted the brakes to be off because I thought at first the brakes were seized. But yeah, I just did, that's looking pretty good. Grass still is like basically not growing here in Connecticut. We're mid-April. Some grass wants to. So there's a little bit of length coming up, but basically I'm just mowing dead stuff and leaves from last year. You know, I got a lot of branches came down this winter, So I got a lot of cleaning up to do before I can mow. I took down a tree, a tree fell, we chopped it up. My roof got a little bit of damage from the wind this winter, so we got people helping us out with that. But yeah, I have a lot of work to do for my yard, but yeah, I just sort of wanted to get that done just to see how that mower works. I am pretty impressed. And I hate these decisions, like should I rip this off or leave it? What looks better? I don't really know. I mean, the tractor's definitely beat up a bit just from sitting outside. Like you can tell, you know, but like the seat is perfect, the tires are still good, the deck is great. This thing really should clean up pretty good. Needs a power wash pretty bad. I guess we could do that. You know, I'll change the oil and everything. I'll sharpen the blades. Yeah, you gotta love these turbo cools. These run pretty good. I hate taking the shrouds off of these because they have double shrouds, but they're nice engines. Every single one of them smells like mouse pee though that I've ever worked on. It just, whatever it is, there's just a lot of room in there for mice, and yeah. No oil leaks. Engine is clean. It's got a bunch of like clay dust on it, which is kind of nice to see because you can kind of tell that it's not leaking any oil. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this thing. Steering is all the way back. No issues with the steering now. A little bit in the shadows here, but I'm gonna give this a pressure wash now. I'll give you like a before and after, or I don't know, a time lapse. But we got this thing too. I'm gonna list that for sale. So yeah, let's clean a few machines here. Yeah, cleaned up pretty good. Of course, I knocked off some more of this decal and some chipping paint, but that is what happens when you pressure wash. Yeah, not bad. I think we're gonna want to do a service on the engine. Probably a new air filter as well, and then we got to get the brakes going. And I think that's it. I might consider throwing a bagger on this thing because it's got the bracket for it, and I think I have a bagger system on another tractor that I'm not quite happy with selling yet, so I don't know, we'll see. Ah, check what I just noticed. 20 horsepower engine. This is not the original engine for this machine. And I guess that makes sense. This thing is probably newer than those engines that would be put on, but yeah, I just noticed that now. It's the next day. Let's get an oil change going on this thing. Got this bolt almost loose. And I think I have a solution for this. Some grip tape. Look at that. It's the right width. I'm gonna stretch it all the way. It's gonna look like a little landing for your feet. And that's gonna clean up that whole area really nicely. And it beats trying to paint it, because it's just not gonna look right unless I paint everything. And I really don't want to do that with this project. I want to keep this one really simple because, you know, this thing's a runner. Everything works. I don't want to go crazy. And I also, you know, there's a strategy to me selling things too. I have a lot of high-priced machines right now, and I need something cheap that will, you know, sell easily. So the things that are big ticket items, they take a little while to sell. You got to find the right buyer, and it's not everyone who's going to buy something that's over $1,000. So, you know, this thing, you know, whatever we do with it, 500 bucks, you know, hopefully that will sell quick. I'm sure this thing's gonna need an air filter too. I mean, we might as well do a spark plug. Yeah, it's pretty dusty. It's not terrible, but I'll check to see if I have one of those. I don't think I do. I'll look around. This thing's actually in terrible shape. I don't know if you can see the amount of dust. This is the bottom. Let me hold it like this for you. There's so much dust just packed into the bottom of this. You can't even see through. Yeah, that needs to be changed. Pretty rusty, but actually looks like it was running pretty good. Yeah, we'll swap that out, easy enough. Interestingly, this is an RC12YX, not a YC. So, I don't know. Well, that came up nice and easy. How's that for a quick fix, huh? I love that. Actually looks really good. I went just a little long on purpose just to keep the edges from pulling up. But yeah, obviously grip tape is really sticky on the other side, but I'm just gonna keep pushing this down and try not to poke through any holes because there's a few bolt holes there. I just don't want to rip it, but you know, eventually that will probably happen. That's okay. Yeah, that's a nice fix. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's for a snowmobile.
Yeah.
But it's broken. There's supposed to be a plastic cap that keeps the water out. So, yeah, snowmobiles make quite a project. We are just
Digging at it.
got a lot of stuff going on in the shed, huh, bud? Wow, okay. Yeah, you missed it. My oldest son was in here. He helped me put on the new spark plug. We just came back from Tractor Supply. He didn't want to be on camera, so that's fine. We got some oil, and I put it in an order for an air filter because Tractor Supply doesn't have that particular air filter. Tractor Supply doesn't really have much of anything anymore. I don't know if you guys are noticing that too. It's like, I don't know, not so happy going there most of the time. They don't really have tractor supplies. It's more like an animal feed store now. I don't know. They have some stuff, but like if you want to service a mower or an engine, you probably don't have what you need.
Yeah, since it turned into a candy store.
Candy store, huh? Well, that's what you like. We never buy you candy there, except you always want the candy there.
Mimi buys me candy there.
Oh, your grandma does? That's where you get it from. I got a fuel filter while I was out. I'm actually out of these things. I usually stock them pretty well, but I'm out right now. So I had to buy it at Tractor Supply for probably $5. Yeah, they're good and on there. Very on there. and it leaks like crazy. I think it's just that fuel line. It seems on there pretty good, but we can swap this section out. So much knuckle busting with fuel line. Okay. We're gonna forego the zip tie that they had on there. Alright, hopefully that solves our leak. Good. I was hoping it wasn't a leaky filter. And while we're over on this side of the tractor, here's our parking brake. And I mean, it seems like that's doing it. That holds it down. That should do it, unless that safety switch is bad. But yeah, so it's looking pretty good. Things are getting serviced and cleaned up, and I think we'll do a little bit of plastic treatment. So we'll use the torch here and just hit some of these plastics and get some of the dirt out of there first. But yeah, we can melt even the steering wheel. I did a little bit right there just to see how that would turn out. I did a little spot there, so yeah, it's gonna look pretty nice. Let me just clean off those surfaces, and then we'll use a little fire to make these plastics look a bit more lively. I'd say that's a big improvement. Doesn't take much time at all. Can start working on these headlights now. Yeah, getting that stuff out of there is going to make this look very nice. Lights work too. I think I showed you that. Get these all cleaned up. You can even get, you get this stuff too, because the lens, you know, seals right there, or tries to seal. And you can make those lines, those edges look nice too. Clean off the bulb. That's going to make it shine brighter, keep it from burning out. This poor tractor lived a dusty life. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. Yeah, I'm gonna clean this thing one more time. After I did some mowing, it got pretty dusty, and it's starting to shape up, so I put a rubber glove and some paper towels down the intake so I can hit this side a little harder. This time the deck needs to be cleaned pretty good, even the rubber on the tires. Got the tank pretty good last time, so that's good. That looks nice. Hood is still a little messy in there too. Try not to remove any more paint. I really can't believe how nice this thing is starting to look. I mean, this isn't all bad. Look how good that plastic restoration came out. I love that everything is nice and tight. Grip tape looks good. I don't need to paint that deck. I don't need to do anything with that seat. Wheels are nice and clean. Tires look good. I forgot to sharpen the blade, so I got to bring it back into the shed to do that, but basically I have the blades to sharpen, and I have an air filter that's going to arrive tomorrow. This thing is done. Oh no, one other thing. Parking brake still isn't working right. You know, the only way it'll start is if you push all the way down. Even though, you know, this has a parking brake, you would think that's the parking brake. It only starts if the pedal's all the way down. So yeah, I don't there's another safety somewhere that I got to look into. But yeah, I do want that to work. But the brakes work. I fixed that. So blades, filter, parking brake. That's where I'm at. All right, well, at least I found what I'm supposed to be looking for. So here's the parking brake on, and there's a safety switch there, but it doesn't get pressed unless I, like I said, put my foot all the way down. And that might be correct. So it might be that this safety switch does not work properly. That could be what's going on there. Well, the harness wasn't on there very good. I got that off very easily. Looks a little dirty. It's riveted in there. So let me just try to clean this up a bit, and we'll see what happens. So I tried putting a jumper wire in the harness there. That didn't solve anything, so I took the safety off from underneath, and this was filled up with junk. So clean that out, clean the harness out. And this is definitely mounted in the right position, so I don't know. Hopefully it was just really dirty. All right, I'll show you. It doesn't work, but parking brake on, safety switch depressed. Nothing with the key. So you step all the way. Lift up. That was a bad showing, but hold on. So yeah, it'll only stay running if it's all the way down. Well, it doesn't matter. This thing, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be doing anything, but I also couldn't bypass it. So I'm not really understanding that one, because if the safety switch was broken and I bypassed it, then we should have success, but we don't. So a little confused. I could try to rig up something so that this gets pressed sooner. I just don't know what adjustment to make in here. So I can solve the problem by disabling the seat safety, and I know that's not a great solution, but it is a solution. So sort of like safeties are disabled here. I think it's kind of interesting though, because you still can't start it unless you're all the way down. So the brake safety is still working. I guess the culprit is this thing. I just don't really get it. So it's good that it doesn't start unless your foot is on the brake, which means you can't start it with blades on, right? Nope. So that's good. I don't know. I'm actually pretty satisfied with that. The only thing that is the seat safety is disabled. That's the only thing notably that would be like a problem for somebody. But you could return it. It's just then you don't get a parking brake. It stalls if you take your foot off. You can't like let it run, because when you get up off the seat, I don't know, there's something like wrong with the order of events with safety switches, but I'm pretty good with that. Yeah, I know some of you guys hate that. I like it. It's good. Good morning, Carmen. It's the next day, and I took the blades off yesterday, and luckily I did, because they are very worn. They smell interesting to the dog, huh? So those were unusable. I had a pair of blades with the 6-star pattern. I had a pair of blades in my collection, and they were really rusty looking. So I ground them down real quick yesterday with a wheel, hit them with some paint. That all dried, and just ground off the paint off the cutting edge so you could tell that it was nice and sharp. And so we'll get those installed right now. Closer, folks. Yeah. All right, I made a decision. I don't have a bagger for this, so I decided to take off this rear bracket. But what I did have lying around was a front bumper. So I'm gonna clean this up and install this thing on the front. I think it's gonna look great. Yep, I am continually impressed with how this thing is turning out. I love the front bumper on it. I got that installed well. 2 bolts on both sides. Kind of rounds out the look for this thing. So I know some people wonder like why I shine it down, especially because I use WD-40, which is like, you know, not the most ideal thing, but it's just quick and easy, and I have that product, and really all I'm trying to do is buff this thing up for Facebook Marketplace photos. So I just did that. I took the photos that I want. Now I really don't care if it gets a little dusty. It's gonna collect dust. It's covered in oil. And I know I could use some other products, but it's so quick and easy, and I just need it to be temporary. You know, I'm not looking to like actually polish this thing necessarily. I just want it to look clean for the photos and for when people come to inspect it and make sure there's no leaks or anything weird like that. I mean, it's a lawnmower, it's gonna get dirty right away. So yeah, I'm still waiting on the air filter, so I'll update you guys when the air filter arrives. But far from perfect, right? It's got a safety disabled, whatever. The belts are worn a bit, and yeah, I'm not going to replace them because they're $50 each for OEM belts. I don't really want to pass that expense on to the customer who's going to buy this thing. I would actually rank this thing amongst my best mowers as far as something that can mow grass and climb hills. So should I replace those belts? To me, it would be premature to replace them. This thing operates just fine. Are they going to need to be replaced eventually? Yeah, any belt is going to need to be replaced eventually. So yep, I'm leaving it just like that, and I'm going to make this thing marked pretty cheap. The battery came along with it. I didn't have to buy a battery. You know, there's so much I didn't have to do with this project, but I still really like the way it came out. So yeah, like I said, far from perfect. The last mower I worked on, I called it perfection, right? Well, let me give you a little update on that, because nothing, my friends, is perfect. So here she is, the perfection mower. I sold it to a friend. Before he even used it, it started leaking gas in his garage, and he was like, hey, my garage is filled with gasoline on the floor. I was like, oh, okay. And so he couldn't quite figure it out, but he brought it over to my place and I fixed it right away. But what the problem was is the fuel bushing that goes from the plastic gas tank to the actual fuel line was cracked, you know. And basically what happened was, when I replaced all the fuel lines, I jostled that bushing, you know, probably weakened it a little bit. And yeah, so yeah, it has a crack, and it was just slowly leaking some gas out. When he brought it over, I had another gas tank, this one here. I pulled this out of my shed to rob the bushing off of it. You know, bushing goes right there, and this one was cracked too. So I was like, yeah, I guess that's just what happens to these things. So just placed a quick order. You know, the next day I had the bushing installed it, so I'll drop this thing off to him. But long story short, nothing is perfect. You know, welcome to lawnmowers. They break, especially these tractors. I mean, they're not as well made as some of them are. They're not that well made. You know, there's lots of little parts that fail, and you get like, you know, a $2 part that fails and the whole thing is useless, right? You can't use it if it's leaking gas, or the gas won't stay in it. So there are so many things like that on these machines. One little part, a blown fuse, a disconnected wire, you know, a ground tab, a solenoid, you know, anything. One little thing disables the whole thing. And this is the problem with selling these things, is you can get it as perfect as you want, but one little part might fail. And then, you know, not my friend, he's all good, but like a customer might say, you sold me, you know, a lemon. You're like, no, you know, everything is great on it. Mower is great, engine's great, transmission's great. You just have an issue. You know, it's just a little issue going on. And so, I don't know. All that to say is, you know, who knows what might show up with this. I think it's impossible to get them to the point where you can say like someone's going to have this thing forever and they're never going to have an issue. I always, you know, I tell people like, welcome to owning a lawnmower. You know, they break. And as someone who sells them, I just do my absolute best to make sure they're in the best condition possible. It's a used machine. I can't guarantee it. You know, even a brand new machine is hardly guaranteed. I know they have like warranties, you know, but they don't cover much. And then you can buy a warranty, but then you're spending like $250, $300 more on a warranty. I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling here, but like sometimes people want warranties on these things and it's like, I don't work for Craftsman, you know, this thing is, you know, 13 years old or whatever it is. Like, no way. You know, who knows what's gonna happen. We do our best, right? All right, several hours later, Amazon has delivered, and I posted this machine for sale, you know, after the last clip, and my phone has just been dinging all day long, and someone came by just now and they're buying it, so I'm going to deliver it to one town over for $550. So let's get this thing loaded on the trailer and delivered.
Yeah!
That is a quick turnaround, huh?
Yep!
Go, load it on the trailer. I like to do 2 points there. Sometimes I do 2 up here, but basically I just use one ratchet strap and just get the whole front axle, and that holds it that way. All right, let's drop it off. All right, just pulled in the driveway, just made the deal, and I really can't believe it. So I bought this tractor Monday morning, and today it's Wednesday, about 6:30 p.m. And so in 3 days, I took a tractor that had a seized engine, I fixed it up, and I got it sold all within 3 days. That's about as good of a flip as you can make it. So we got paid here, and yeah, $550 delivered. I didn't really charge him a delivery fee just because he was like 8 minutes away. You know, just got to do it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with this. This was a pretty simple fix, and you know, we just spent the rest of the time making sure everything works and servicing and polishing it up and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got a lot of tractors coming. I have a lot of projects I need to get to, and looking forward to making some videos for you guys. So if you like the channel, my name is Kyle, and the channel's called Kyle by the Creek, and hope you guys enjoy. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. That will all help me out, and you can even like hit the bell or do all sorts of things that might give you some notifications about when my new videos come out. But we'll catch you guys in the next one. Looking forward to it.